Today's agenda, it would be, Azure Data Factory. Completely, I'm going to take up Azure Data Factory. It is not going to be the service I'm going to create. It will be like the though I'm going to open the tool. On top of it, what we do as a developer, Azure data engineer, what we are going to do, that will be demonstrated in this session. So because last session we had seen portal, introduction, Azure portal introduction, and then Databricks overview. But I want you to get wet your hands with the what activities we are going to perform inside the tool. It can be Databricks or Data Factory or Synapse. Just I wanted to show you at least one tool, what we are going to do, how every time I'm saying data engineering responsibilities, right, I wanted to show you in a real time basis. Just with a sample data I'm going to show, not at high level, because within a stipulated time we need to show a little amount of knowledge, right, I wanted to share. So I will take a sample. I will first introduce the tool to you at high level, and then do a one simple a copy operation, how data will be moved from one place to another place, source to the destination. So that is the agenda for today's class. Okay. When I say data factory, uh, if someone come from the background of MSBI, it is pretty easy for them. When I say MSBI, right, it is called as a Microsoft Business Intelligence tool. It is there in the market so long time onwards, almost like 20 25 years onwards. It is there. I think so. Before I joined into the IT industry itself, 20 years at least. MSBI is nothing but it's a pack of SQL Server, SSIS, SSRS, SSIS. So one of the tool in that Microsoft tool is SSIS. SSIS is SQL Server Integration Service. So it's an ETL tool actually. ETL tool. What is ETL? I will tell you. So it's an ETL tool. So what these people have done, since last 10 years onwards, Microsoft introduced a tool. Azure, right? So this SSIS tool has been upgraded into Azure Data Factory. It is it is having more advantages than SSIS. On top of it, cloud flavor has been added to that. So just SSIS only or MSB only, just on top of it we are going to add the flavor of cloud, nothing else. So now what we do with the SSIS or Azure Data Factory, we do ETL. What is ETL? So it's people who come from data warehousing background, right, it's easy for them, but I will give you a background. I will take care of it, don't worry. So what is ETL? Extract, transform, and loading. E stands for extract, T for transform, and L for loading. So I will take an example to explain what is ETL. Suppose State Bank, if is having data, they are generating a lot of data. First of all, they are generating a lot of transactions and loan payments, debit card transactions, all those data, right? They need to some store this data into some place. Storing options are multiples are there in the market, like as some databases are in terms of any flat file sources or any FTP connections or some storage accounts from the cloud, anything on premise itself in a server. So, I mean, there are a lot of sources in the market where you can store within cloud itself. People will choose n number of options to store their data. So it can be Azure predominantly, or AWS, or Google, whatever it is. Data will be stored in a place. So once data is stored, this data needs to be made it available to management of SBI, so that they can take the better improvement plans of their business. So this data cannot be directly understand by themselves. As and when, see, as you are a user of SBI, you are generating a lot of transactions per day. You use debit card, credit card, personal loans, home loans, everything. You're generating the data as a holistic view. I'm a SBI manager. I have to understand. So how the customers are, generating the, revenue for their company, and then how the customer feeling about their portals, their services, all those things, right? And in which area revenue is getting generated more, such kind of decisions when they wanted to take. So data is not that much easy for them as like data what they get actually. So data what they get out of your transaction need to be polished. So polished in a such a way easily understandable to the end user, I mean manager. So for that purpose, we bring in a tool called as ETL. ETL, this is an operation or process. This process can be handled through multiple tools in the market. There are a lot of ETL tools. So SSIS, Informatica, Ab initio, Data Stage, many. I'm not writing all. ODI, one of you, I mean, one of the person from this training itself, ODI resource. That is Oracle tool. So different vendors have their own tools. They are generating, all this ETL process or operations. So what they do, exactly what. So as a customer like you, millions of people are using. Just imagine some 1 lakh people are using the data. So these data, whatever the data from the customers, SBI will pick up only relevant data. So and then they transform the data, they change the structure of the data, or they add more calculations or remove the quality of the data they verify, and then they transform the data, add more columns, or joining multiple columns of data. End of the day, they load the data into and target folder. So now the source is very clear. It can be anything: SQL Server DB or Oracle DB, or some storage or on-premise or server, whatever it is. The data is available some places. That data we are picking, we call it as extract. We are extracting from the source, and we are transforming it. Transformation in the sense adding more columns, filters, or any joins, any business implementations, however they wanted to see. They wanted to have revenue across Hyderabad region, they wanted to see. So that case you need to provide some calculations out of the data what is provided from the source. So source data is always remains constant. So we are going to perform some calculations on top of it. Finally, you are loading into one target. So this target source can be, as I said, SQL Server, Azure SQL, or Amazon S3 or Google BigQuery, anything. So source can be anything, and that target can be also anything wherever they, I mean, whatever the place they wanted to store the data, right? They go for it, no concerns. So this entire operations can be performed through all these mentioned ETL tools. One of the tool is SSIS, which has got the cloud flavor. Along with that, there are enormous options has been added on top of the SSIS tool. If you are no SSIS, it is easy to pick from this also. Don't worry if you are not from the SSIS background also. I'll be able to take you this training from the basics to some good level. So for that reason, we use Azure Data Factory. Azure Data Factory, if you wanted to use it right, today I'm not going to demonstrate how we create and all. Just I'll straight away go and create a new data factory from the Azure portal. So all of you who are attended the session yesterday, right? They might be having knowledge about Azure portal, how to create a product or service from this Azure portal. Now I'll straight away go to the create resource, and then choose Azure Data Factory. Just type here Data Factory. You choose Data Factory here, and then I pick up Data Factory from this. So latest version only will be there always. Don't worry, even it will take auto upgradation also. So no need of versioning actually from our side. So this is how the creation wizard looks like. Yesterday also we discussed all these options more or less will be the same. Databricks or Synapse or whatever, any product you choose, almost all the options remain same. Here and there, some changes will be expected. Depends on the tool or product what you are purchasing from the Azure portal. Now I have chosen my subscription. This is where I'm going to get build up. So I have chosen it. I will choose my resource group as we discussed yesterday. Resource group is nothing but grouping of your products in a organized manner. So for that purpose, we create multiple groups. I have only one resource group. This is a training purpose. So I have chosen where my products has to go and land in. Okay, so it's just organizing purpose, nothing else. and we have to choose the instance. What do I mean by instance? Whenever you are installing a product, that means you are installing an instance. So you need to give a name for your instance. Suppose you are installing, let's say, GoToMeeting to join this call. So that is nothing but installing an instance of a GoToMeeting. Just like that, I'm doing installation of an instance for Azure Data Factory as well. Every time, as I told you, naming conventions are most important in the Azure data engineering. We are the engineers, we are at high level, we are completely technical professionals, should resemble what you are doing in terms of naming conventions. So always follow with a lower case across Azure data engineering practices, and then try to put up what you're trying to do, whether it is a prod version or how many versions are there. This also can be called as workspace. So, and then I choose region. As we discussed yesterday, high level, I will tell you what is region. Azure will be having 4 to 5 regions. I'm not sure latest regions how many are there. So region has nothing but they maintain the operations across. They segregated entire world into multiple regions. So we have to choose our nearest region, provided this product will be supported to that region. So I'm choosing East US. I mean, actually, North US or UK South will be best actually. UK South also you can be able to use. So one problem here is already if this kind of version already someone has created means it is problematic. So we have to change this actually. Um, Test 5432, something like this. If you give a unique name, then only it will accept it. Okay, yeah, got it. Okay, so it was telling a naming convention. It is not allowing me, so I have chosen it. So now the version, don't bother about version. Earlier it used to have version one also. It has been completely. I mean, as I told, SSIS has been migrated to version one first. Then version two they have upgraded. Now only version two will be available in the market. Don't worry. So just click on next. And the JIT configuration. What do I mean by JIT configuration? This data factory I'm creating where you are going to keep your code what you have developed. So if you wanted to keep your code repository in terms of JIT or something, you can choose this option. If you don't pick up this one, later if you, I mean later if you don't want to do it, you need to mention which JIT repository you wanted to, or uh, Azure DevOps where you want to push your code. So depends on the project. You need to choose actually wisely. So for now, it's a training purpose. I'm not enabling this, but real time when we are doing the some kind of implementation, that time I'll be able to demonstrate this as well. You can choose your GitHub, Azure DevOps. You can push your code also, because in the entry purpose, definitely it is required how you are going to maintain your code. So for that purpose, I will be able to tell you that time also. For now, I'll pick up, like later I'm going to configure my JIT repository. For now I'm going to focus on the training. So networking is nothing but you can leave as it is. Just click on next. All the default option you can continue, and review. If all the validations it is passed means you are allowed to create your Azure Data Factory. So just I pick up the create option. It has submitted. It will take a couple of minutes, minute or more than 1 minute. So it depends on your something processing speed that time. So deployment, once it is completed, that means Azure Data Factory service or instance or workspace, anything, same name. So once it is created, you will be able to see it. So it is telling that it has been completed deployment. So you can be able to use your resource. I quickly jump onto Data Factory. I want to show you much things today. So live, I wanted to show you how a data engineer, what a data engineer does at a basic level, not into the extended level, basic level, what it does. I'm going to show you today. Clear, right, so far? I click on Launch Studio. So any doubts you can post me now. As of now, what are we covered now? Any doubts? Hope no doubts. Good to go.
Oh, Venkat sir,
Yes, sir.
as a part of this training, are you going to cover SSIs also, or
No,
just
no, no, no,
completely?
no. Not required at all. Not required at all. SSIS
Okay.
is upgraded to latest version, which we are going to learn. SSIS has no mileage. I mean, I'm not
Okay.
completely saying it is no mileage compared to cloud tools like Data Factory, Databricks, and all. it doesn't have mileage, we are not going to focus on that. If you straight away stepping into this is enough. Clear, right? If you learn this,
Okay.
you will be able to work in SSIS also. It's not a big matter. So
Okay.
this is
Okay.
how, once I launch the tool, this is how the tool look like. So in this tool, you'll be having multiple options here: author, monitor, manage, and then this one is nothing but your training materials. You can remove, I mean, ignore about this. So here, author is a main thing. As a developer, you are going to work. So all the data loads will be created under this author mode only, and monitor is for, it is for monitoring the workloads what has been created already, kept in for scheduling. Scheduling we should not call here, we call it as triggers, triggering. So just one time we create, suppose a file will be arrived on a daily basis. As a developer, I'm going to work one time, that will be put it in a proper manner. As and when the file arrives on daily basis, my process, my pipeline, go and pick up the file, process it in terms of transformation, right? And then integration, everything it will pick up and load the data into that desired target table on a regular basis. Clear, right? So this is one time activity, whichever data load you want to perform. Once you create a pipeline, so it will be scheduled in the monitoring tool. It will happen on a regular basis. You are clear, right? So now this is manage is nothing but maintaining, or making a designer, developer, to make his life easier. We are going to do some configuration settings inside this manage tab. Manage tab is for configuration settings, and monitoring tab is for mainly for supporting us. I heard one of the person who is supporting in data factory, so he might be working under this. You'll be seeing multiple pipelines will be created in the real time. Multiple pipeline, when I say multiple pipelines, hundreds of thousands of pipelines will be created. So multiple files, multiple operations, multiple requirements, all these things you can be able to see here on a regular basis. One pipeline if you create, when I say pipeline, I will tell you later, don't get confused. Pipeline is nothing but a process from source to target. What are all the activities you wanted to perform, you put it in a pipeline. That pipeline you're going to schedule it through triggers. So those triggers will be shown here on a regular basis if it is scheduled on a periodical basis, weekly, daily, monthly, or whatever. Clear, right? So now coming on to author tab, what I'm going to do is, I will tell you this, interface more in detail later point. For today, we'll focus on how we can use this tool to do a at least one operation. Yesterday we focused on Databricks, right? Just in overview only. So I have to show you how it will be used as a tool for loading the data or doing all those operations in real time. Okay. After that, we'll try to see if time permits, we'll be able to discuss data factory interface as well. Okay. For now, focus on the pipeline alone. So, okay. So here, this is the author tool. As a developer, predominantly you are going to work. Okay. So in this place, there are certain operations are there here: pipelines, right? Data sets, data flows, and Power Query. So you can ignore this Power Query and change data capture later point. So for now, we can focus only on pipelines, data sets, and then we're going to discuss on the linked service from the Manage tab, and then integration runtime from the Manage tab, right? And triggers. All these three options we are going to cover up today. All the five options. Okay. So what is a pipeline? So if you ask me what we do, what I do in real time, what I do in the data Azure Data Factory, sir, I create a pipeline. That's all. I create a pipeline. So what this pipeline does, it will perform an ETL operation. So suppose I do have, I'm taking only SBI itself to understand, make you understand what is pipeline. In SBI itself, so my requirement is, SBI has given a lot of products, sold the products to multiple customers. He wanted to see for the credit card region how the revenue has been generated for the last quarter. That is the question I got from the business. What we need to do, so I'm going to pick up the multiple data sets. Maybe, per suppose, data is generated across different districts, different state level. So for entire Tamil Nadu and Bangalore, different data is stored in different places, or different files, or different tables. However, it is data can be structured, unstructured, anything. So I have to pick up this data, all the credit card information only. So for region wise, I want to pick up all the South India region only. I want to pick up. Okay, suppose. So what I do is, first I'll pick up the South India. Suppose we'll take it like flat file. In the terms of flat file, SBI credit card data has been stored for South India. Just imagine. So it is about three files. Or three files will take it up. Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, and Hyderabad. Three files has been made available. We have to pick up this file. Along with this, along with this, the customer data remains same. The customer data is not inside the flat file. It is there in terms of maybe storage. No, storage account. Blob storage, the data is available, a single file is available, which is maybe Excel. So this is a flat file. Sorry, I should supposed to put flat file here. So three flat files which resembles customer product credit card information, and this is customer information itself, customer name, customer ID. So all this information is available here. So now what I have to do is, I have to extract this data. So I need to provide the connectors for extracting this data. Connectors in the sense, I need to make connection established. Any tool, whenever you wanted to pick up the data, you need to establish the connection details so that it will go and make the connection to the source files where they are available. So here I told, right, on premise itself, some server they kept the flat files, all this credit card information, three flat files. So they are in some server. So that server details I need to know so that I will be able to make the connection. So in case of this Excel, I need to have these connection details of Azure portal blob storage. So if I know the connection details, first I need to make the connection. That is nothing but linked services. The name itself clearly says to you linked services. So whenever you want to connect to the sources, what I need to first, I need to have the linked service. Linked service is nothing but we only create as a connection parameter. That connection details will tell the pipeline which you are building. The pipeline can be able to connect to the sources through these connectors, which are nothing but linked service only. Okay, pipeline is nothing but ETL. Clear, right? Pipeline is nothing but ETL. Whenever ETL wants to read the source data, it will refer the linked service where credentials are stored. It will get the data from the sources. So this pipeline will have data sets. What do I mean by data sets? So we have the credentials is stored in linked services. Credentials are stored in linked services, but exactly which file I have to get it? Only South India files. Only three files I have to get it. Tamil Nadu file, Hyderabad file, Telangana file, and Karnataka file. Only three files I have to get it. So this linked service connection is allowed to give even all the states of information also across India. But I'm interested only in three states. So that's why data sets will be created. Now I got three terminologies: pipelines, which is nothing but your ETL operations. Next, I have linked services. Linked services nothing but my connection details where it has been stored. Till that system, I suppose data is kept in SQL server. Just imagine. Linked service should be created for in accordance to SQL server only. If data is kept in some FTP location, the linked service should be created with respect to FTP connection only. So wherever your data is available, that linked connection service has to be created. Next, inside the pipeline, I'm going to create data sets, and I will create activities. Pipeline is nothing but equal to data sets and activities. So what are the activities? I will tell you. So these are all the basic terminologies what I need to what I wanted to tell you, because to learn data factory, these terminologies are very important actually. So pipeline, linked service, activities, data sets, and then triggers. So another terminology is there, integration runtime. I will tell you that also. So first we'll focus on the pipeline. So this is where the pipeline looks like. You need to create a new pipeline. If your project is having n number of pipelines, it will be shown here with a count also. Here, this service I just freshly created, nothing is being shown here. So I just create my own pipeline. So new pipeline I have created. This is how the window looks like. This is a property window. These are all the activities I told you, right? pipeline equal to Pipeline equal to data sets plus activities and few other also, but majorly pipeline contributes to two things: data sets will be created and activities will be used. Same is case for SSIS also. Okay, so here what I do is, pipeline I'm building. Once I create the pipeline, this is how the wizard look like. I have my activities. Based on these activities, I'm going to build my pipeline. So these are all the different parameters you are allowed to keep. Okay, so I have to set up my data sets first. What is data set? I told you, data set is nothing but exact location of the data I am looking for. I am looking for what? I am looking for three flat files, one Excel file. Excel file is there in storage account, flat file is there in server. Flat file, three flat files are there in server. Excel file is available in storage account. So if we know these sources, I'm going to use a pipeline. I will build a pipeline so that data will be loaded into target with the help of pipeline. Any doubts? Someone has unmuted. Okay, I will take it as no. So now, as I told you, I want to demonstrate this today's class with the help of one storage account where I'm going to keep one flat file or Excel file something. So for today, to no, I have to create a source data first. So for creating the source data, I will create a duplicate this tab. I'll go to Azure portal, or I can duplicate anything of your choice. Go to your Azure portal and create a storage account also, where I'm going to keep my storage, source file. So here I'm looking for storage account. Why I need to have storage account? This is where my source data is kept available for us to use. Okay. Any name you can be able to see that. Okay, you can be able to pick up your time. My portal is not fully managed. Let me pick up from here itself. So I need to go to storage accounts. I have to create my storage account for myself. So this is already created. I will delete it if I don't want. End of the course, I may have to delete this. I will create a new storage account. So this storage account I'm creating for storing my source data. So what I do is, I will choose the subscription through which billing is going to happen for this storage account service as well, which I'm trying to get it purchase. Okay, so I need to put the storage account name, something like uh, training, something training demo file 032, something uniquely you need to give actually. So it will not take the duplicate name, that's why. So UK South is it will always gives you the nearest and the best location for you, best region for you. So you need to choose, or you can take your own choice also. It's up to you, all up to you. So on some of these options I'll tell you later. While purchasing this service, there are different flavors. So what level of data you wanted to keep, and how many options you want. Based on that, you may choose standard or premium. As yesterday I told you, right? Premium version is there, standard version is there. How much data and how much redundancy you want to avoid. So those kind of features will be there. I will take you separate class for storage account also, which is nothing but Microsoft Azure Data Lake Gen 2. That is what is nothing but storage account. I will tell you that time. So for now, you can ignore all this redundancy. So we can focus on the creating the storage account at least. Okay. So I click on next, leaving these options as default. I go to next and create my own storage account. So it is getting validated. Yes, it is good to go. I created my storage account. So now I have created two services for today's demo, today's class. One is storage account, second one is data factory. So data factories we are trying to do some pipeline, but storage account why we created, just to store our files. Okay, so I'll go to the storage account. Once it is created, you can go here, and you can see. Oh, sorry, I mistakenly deleted it. I completely and not performed actually. Sorry for my ignorance. Oh, okay. It's created. I would have waited for it. Yeah. Now it's created. I will go to storage account to show you. So this is a, why it is not being shown. Yeah. Now it is being shown. I forgot to refresh it. So now this is the one I just created with a unique name. When I go inside this, right? This is where you can create your containers. So what is container? What is storage account? For now, you can leave it. Container is nothing but just like a place where we can keep our folders. Inside your folders you can be allowed to keep your files, your source data. So the file can be anything: parquet file, orc file, excel file, flat file, any big data supported files, json files, anything. So any kind of file can be uploaded here. Okay, so it is very useful if you are using any service you use in the Azure service, right? Azure platform, right? Most oftenly you will be creating storage accounts just to keep your data available here. Any files can be uploaded here in trillions, millions of data, also billions of data also. So we measure the data in terms of GB and terabytes, petabytes, something like this. In sizes only we measure here. For how much our data you keep in these storage accounts, right? That much billing will be come to you. So terabytes of data companies, real time people will be storing here actually. Yeah. So now inside this container, I had the container available. I created it. So I'm creating a new container. I will keep like a demo training container. I'm giving some random name. I will create a demo container, container. So this is what my container. So just imagine I created a storage account. Inside that, I created one container, nothing else. Inside the container, I'm going to create a folder also. If you want, you can create. Now, thing is, I need to prepare my source data. So either I can create here quickly, or else I can already one sample. I mean, layman data I created here. What I did is, for each location, what is the revenue has been generated. So credit card and personal loan, only for different Bangalore, Hyderabad, some data I created just to showcase. So what I do is I click on save. I go to storage account. I'm going to upload the file which I created. So this is a flat file actually. I mean, I'll show you maybe in the later point. So just what I did is comma separated data I'm creating. I don't have any column, column headers are not there. So this data is called as semi-structured data. Semi-structured means data is not organized in a proper manner. There are no column headers, just only data is maintained. Someone has to understand. So that's why I'm calling this as semi-structured. So now I'm going to upload this file. This file name is sample bank data session 3, something like this. Okay, I just saved in my local. So I'm going to upload this file for doing this data copy operation. I pick up the file. I pick up the file where this available. So bank data AD session 3. So I choose on this file. It will tell you, it will validate whether if this file is already available. It will not allow you. Then that time you need to pick up, overwrite a file. If the same name other file is available, means you need to pick up this file actually. Overwrite option you need to enable. So now inside this you want to create any folder? No, you can create actually. Upload in a folder. So I what I'm doing is storage account. Inside storage account, one container. Inside the container I'm creating one folder. Under the folder I'm creating my file. I'm telling storage account. Under this container, inside the container I'm creating one folder just for managing purpose only, organizing purpose only. Inside this I'm going to keep my input file. This file is nothing but my input file. Okay, so now I'm creating a folder as input only. Okay, so now I'll upload this file, I will see, yeah, folder has been created inside the storage account. Okay, so this folder will have a file. This is a file I have uploaded here. So you can, if you want to, you can view it actually. So just you can go and see here. This is the data. Okay, so you can refresh it. Any data is not refreshed automatically, it will automatically refresh whenever you do the changes. So if you want to refresh here, latest data is not populated, you can just refresh. So now I have my source data ready. I'll go to here. Here what I need to do is, I need to choose my source. I need to choose my target. What is my source? My source is Azure storage account itself. Azure storage is my source. I know where I need to extract. I know the extraction place. Now I need to know where I need to load my data. That means L. So I'm going to take that also as storage account only. Or else you can load this data into one database also. No problem. It's all up to you, your convenience. So this source can be storage account, and anything database also. Target can be a database, or storage account, or any other on-premise also. You can be able to load your data. It's all about your convenience. So for my case, what I'm doing is, storage account is the source, and target account also source only. Inside the same storage account, I'm going to create two folders. One is input folder to keep my input files. One is output folder to keep my output files. End of the day, I'm going to copy this operation. Okay, now I come to here to build my pipeline. So how I create my pipeline? Just click on this pipeline option and create it actually here. So already I'm into the pipeline one. So probably you can keep a proper name for this if you want. So some bank data pipeline. So it should be proper naming conventions. Mostly we'll keep it in the lowercase. As I mean, we follow the underscore something to demonstrate in a described manner. Okay, you can put some description also for your pipeline. It's all about you. So once you try to create a pipeline, there are options available to create a data set. What is data set? I know where is my source file available inside the input file here, input folder. Inside this input file, this is my source. So I need to create a data set. So before that, I need to create a linked service. My data factory don't know where the file available. This will be having some credentials, this will be having some path. So for that reason, I need to create the linked service first. Okay, I'll go to linked service first. I will create it. So here is a place. I'm going to create the linked service. Two linked service you need to create. One is for source, second one is for target. For source, I click on new. So I need to choose what is my source. You tell me what is my source. That is Azure storage location itself. If it is SQL server, what I'll do? I'll type here SQL server. If I'm connecting to SQL server on premise, it's fine. If it is Azure SQL, you type Azure SQL. So I'm trying to connect to storage account. So that means a blob storage you are trying to connect. So if you keep any file in the within Azure storage accounts, that can be connected as Azure blob storage. These are called as connectors. So if I want to connect to AWS, I will type Amazon. So these are all the different type of Amazon services. Redshift is a database. Okay. Especially if you wanted to see what are all the Amazon related services are there, no, just click database. It will show all the services, all the connectors. These are called as connectors. Connectors will allow to communicate to your sources and then to perform loading operations to your target. Connectors are very essential. So if I wanted to connect to Oracle, I will type here Oracle. From Oracle itself, there are multiple flavors are there. Maybe suppose I want to connect to some Teradata, it will allow. Teradata is another database, right? So any vendor, so for your information, Azure will allow you, I mean data factory will allow you to connect to 100 plus services, 100 plus connectors. You can be able to connect to on-premise SQL server also. In your server, in your laptop, some SQL server is installed or some file is kept over there. You can be able to read that also. So big data also it will allow you. So Apache Impala. So right, and then Hadoop wise also it will be able to allow you. So any file, any data. So why it is evolving more and more? SSIS is restricted to some level. Now you got the point, right? Why ETL tools are not that much famous? Why cloud is increasing more and more? Because of the connectors and the new features that has been added. These many connectors were not there in SSIS, for your information. Okay, so suppose I want to connect to my storage account, I will choose Azure Blob, or else you can see from here also. You don't need to type. You go to Azure, you can see this is the service I want to connect. So data like gen2 is a thing we are going to describe, I mean we are going to discuss in the class also. So blob storage for now we'll connect. Okay, you can connect to this also, no problem, both are same. So I'll click continue. So here is nothing but what I'm doing now. I am creating my linked service. Okay, I have my source ready. I'm trying to create my pipeline. To create my pipeline, I need to create the linked service first, so that I will be able to connect to my source. So I'm creating this like input linked service. But in real time, what do you do is ls underscore, right? Ls underscore, um, what type of source it is, blob file, right? And then storage account, Azure storage. Just you need to clearly tell, so that someone from your team also will be able to understand what why this linked service has been created. Try to keep the description also in real time. So I will tell you what is integration runtime. Bear with me. Integration runtime is nothing but one word. It is nothing but your RAM. Whenever you are working with your laptop, you need your RAM, right, and processor to perform some operations. To read this, to read this input file, to connect to the input file which is I created in the storage account, I need to have one processor. So that is nothing but integration runtime. Yesterday we discussed, right, in Databricks we call them as clusters. So there it is clusters, here it is integration runtime. It is nothing but a processor or RAM, whatever you call it as. It will provide the infrastructure. This data factory is a tool actually. It will provide a connection, and then it will go and read the file. That infrastructure will be provided by integration runtime. I will tell you there are different types of integration runtime. I will be able to cover all those things. To cover that, to connect to that storage file, input file, where I have available here, I need to give some credentials also. So for now, I'm going to choose, there are two storage containers available here, storage accounts. Okay, within this subscription, I do have two storage accounts. I'm choosing my desired storage account. Under this only, I have my container. Inside the container, I have folder. Inside the folder, I have my input file. Okay, so click on create, so that my input file has been linked service connection has been created. It is doing good. So to make sure, whenever you are creating, right, always click on test connection. It will show you whether you are doing correct or not. Test connection is successful. I'm going to create another linked service. We can connect with the same linked service itself, but I'm trying to showcase you in terms of real time. In real time, source can be one database or a flat file or whatever it is, and target can be anything. That's why we maintain different linked services, means different connection details for source and target. So for target, I'm going to create another connection with the help of Azure Blob Storage only. Okay, now you need to keep this as target blob service. So I have to keep ls always, which represents linked service. Linked service nothing but connection details. So I go to, you know um, I will choose the storage account. Again, I'm going to store under training demo model itself, or else I have another storage account also. I created yesterday, or I mean some other class I created. I didn't remember. So I can be able to choose this also. So it is allowing me. I can be able to store my file there also. So now what I do is, my source is different, target is different. Okay, I have two containers here, two storage accounts. This is my target, this is my source, or else I can choose same storage account itself. So now what I do is, I click on create, I click on test connection to just make sure it is working or not. So this is the same for SQL Server also, but parameters will be differing. I wanted to show you. So target is created. Quickly, I will show you how SQL Server connection will be there. Okay, SQL Server, on-premise SQL Server. Yes, I have chosen. Suppose this is out of discussion, but I'm trying to show you how a connection can be established to SQL Server. So this is a SQL Server. I'm trying to put server name and then database name, authentication name. So different type of authentication, Windows authentication or SQL authentication or user assigned managed entity. This I will tell you. This is managed by Azure itself. Okay, there are three options. You need to keep your user ID password so that you will be able to connect to SQL Server table also. If you have a database as a source or target, you can be able to make a connection to this also. This method of making the connection differ from type of vendor you would like to connect to. If it is Amazon S3 cloud service, this connection details will vary. All these connection details, don't worry, it will be mostly it will be created and kept available to you. As a data engineer, mostly you will not be able to create. You are not asked to create. Okay, don't worry. If you need it, you can contact your DBA, database administrator, to get the credentials. Clear, right? So this is how it looks like, the connection details. Now I'm done with my. I will summarize you because please don't mind. This is starting, right. Some of you guys understand very quickly. Some of you can understand very slowly. So that's why I'm repeating the topics actually in real time. Once you move on, right, I will try to reduce this. So what I did is today I created one ADF, workspace. I created one storage account for input. I mean source. I created one storage account for output. Okay, so I kept my input file here. File is available to read, one file only, not three files. As we discussed, I'm not loading three files, one file only. I mean, interest of time, one file only I'm trying to read. This file to another destination folder, destination storage account. In the output folder, I want to push this file. You got it, right? So I'm going to I created one storage account, which is here I need to paste the file, copy the file. So the file name here, it should be simply output file. I would like to keep, just imagine, this is the name I would like to see. So we are going to do it now. So for this operation, I created one pipeline. Pipeline is nothing but ETL operation. Pipeline will be having two things: data sets plus activities. So how do data sets are nothing but exact location of source file, exact location of target file. So data sets tells exact location of where is your source, where is your target. It will clearly tell you. So activities are nothing but to perform the copy from source to target. We need some activities. They are nothing but transformations. Some of you come from ETL background, right? Transformations we call it as. So here what I'm using is terminology in Azure Data Factory. I'm using terminology called as activity. So this activity will facilitate me to copy the file from source to target. So data sets has to be created before we create the pipeline. To build a pipeline, we need data sets. So this data set is nothing but exact location of your file. So two data sets I need to create: input data set, output data set. Because I need to know exact location of output also, right? So for that, so to create the data sets, I need to have the credentials. Then only I can be able to create my source and the target. No, that's why we need input, linked service and output linked service. So for each data sets, I'm linking to one data linked service. So don't think that for doing multiple pipelines, we create multiple linked services and all. One time you make a connection that can be utilized in multiple pipelines and multiple projects. What I mean to say is, suppose this file which you loaded just now, the file which we created in storage account, that is used for multiple projects. Same linked service can be used. You don't need to create this pipeline you created. Maybe your teammate is creating another pipeline. He can be able to use, with the help of this linked service, he can be able to talk to same linked service data set file itself. So one time linked service you will not create multiple times. It will be repeatedly used. Hardly in a project you will see some about 50 linked service you'll be seeing, because most frequently you will be connecting to same SQL server only. So one SQL server, one linked service only. Same Oracle, if it is used across multiple projects within same data factory, one linked service is enough. You clear, right? So here I created two linked services, two data sets I'm going to create by using the two linked services. Let me create the data services. Okay, linked data sets. So here I go to pipeline. Inside the pipeline, there is an option called data sets. For now, there are no data sets available. Okay, so to create this pipeline, I need to create the data sets with the help of linked service. I click on new data set. I choose my you know um, type of file I'm going to read. As we know, type of file I'm going to read is blob style type of file, which is there in storage account. So now I'm choosing blob storage file type, and then what file I'm going to read in the storage account. If there are multiple files are available in the storage account, if there are multiple files are available means, here if one Excel file is there, one PDF file is there, one JSON file is there, what type of file exactly you are referring, right? You should tell it here. Excel file or binary file. Flat file is considered as binary file in terms of ADF, so I'm going to choose. If it is CSV file, I'll choose CSV file. These are all three formats are big data formats. If data is huge, Excel, binary, CSV file, delimited and all will not support. Avro, ORC, Parquet. These are all the compressed data format. So this is nothing but, I was telling you, right? Huge data files will be, in real time you are not, mostly you'll be using CSV file, Excel file, JSON file, ORC file. Binary file you will not be using actually. XML file also very rarely you will be using, very rarely. Okay, so now I'm creating my, so don't forget, I'm creating my input data sets. DS I need to keep. DS underscore input underscore something banking source, something you need to keep. Okay, so now as I told you, right, to create a data sets, you need to know the credentials where your source file is available. So I need to choose my source linked service. This is my source linked service. So this is the linked service. It is allowing me to browse my file. If you know the container name, directly you can copy paste here. What is your container name? Your container name is demo training container. If you don't want to copy paste here, just click on browse, choose your demo training container. Inside that, navigate to your folder. Mine is kept under input folder. I'm going to pick up a binary file. In case of ORC file, Parquet file, all the files will be shown here. You need to choose the desired file what you want to process. So I pick up my file. This is a directory. If there are multiple folders slash something, I mean multiple subfolders, you'll be keeping like this. In my case only I have one folder, that is input folder, and file name is this and container is this. So I click on next, click OK. Data set is created. Okay, so the name is also very clear here. You're clear, right? So now if you observe, the data set is there available. One data set is available here. I need to create another data set. Okay, so this data set, what I do is I'm going to again choose as blob storage, because this is where I'm going to place my file. So file is blob, and then linked service I'm going to choose is target, because target only knows my storage account. So my target is ADE storage. That's why I'm choosing this. So I go to here. Sorry, which one I chosen? Yeah, demo container. Okay, still pointing to the same. Okay, I think the target linked service also I gave this only. I did not give other one. So my mistake. So we don't need to go and edit it. I'm just choosing it, output container. Just here is the place I want to store, or else something output files you want to change your directory. So in this demo container I want to place my file. Okay, Just this is my exam, I mean expectation. My this I need to put it like dataset ds, blob file, and target. So now I have pipeline available in draft state. First, I went and created my linked services. Then I created my data sets with the help of linked services. Now I'm going to use these linked services. Okay, so these linked services are available here. As I told you, pipeline is combination of two things. Pipeline equal to data sets and activities. So we are building pipeline, so data sets are ready with the help of linked service and all. Now I'm going to use my activity. What is my activity? My activity is very simple. I wanted to move the file. Just I go to this, lot of activities are there. We are going to see most of this majority of these files, activities. These are very essential. So I will take copy here, out of which rest will discuss later point. So this copy, what it does is, copy activity is nothing but it has a a specific behavior. It will read the source file, load this data into a target folder. That is what is his job. So for this purpose, so what I'm doing is, I chosen one copy activity. So don't worry about all these activities. In the subsequent classes we are going to see. Okay, these are very important. So this activity I'm going to say like proper name, you copying banking data, something like this. Copying banking data, I'll keep it like the activity name. So this banking data, I need to go to source. I need to pick up my data set, source data set. What is my source data set? My source data set is this. So if you don't have data sets created, you don't have data sets created already, we have created. If we have, if we have not created it, what you can do is, you can use a new option here. You can click new option, no? You can be able to create by, I mean, ad hoc basis here also. No need to worry. So but it is best practice to create here and then come and plug in. Now coming on to target, I'm going to choose my target data. So I mean data set. This is my target data set where I want to place my folder, I mean file has to be copied. So now source is ready, target is ready. What I need to do is, I need to validate it whether I did it correctly or not. If I validate, okay, target is wrong actually. It has given me an error actually.
While you're creating copy activity in the source file, you give in the target location.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Let me see that.
The activity at copy activity is done.
yeah.
Yeah,
There
one
here,
second.
here you given source data set as a target.
Acha, got it. We can be able to edit from here, so I don't want to do it quickly. I'll delete both just to avoid confusion.
Okay, go ahead.
So sorry for my ignorance. So I choose binary file. I'll connect. I'll put it like simply input blob. I choose my file where it is available. Input. This is my file, and then I'm just going to leave it. Now data set, source data set has been created. Now I will choose blob storage. I go to this binary, click create. I'll put it like target, and I choose target, and then I will choose the data container. That's it. So I'm not keeping anything. I'm not exactly choosing. So something output folder I'm just keeping. So output folder is not available under this target folder, even though it is going to create ad hoc basis. Okay, don't worry. So file name also I'm not clearly telling this time, just for just we'll see how it goes. Now what I do is, I will plug in this sync is nothing but your target. Output I choose, source is chosen, input. Okay, so now I go and validate this. So there are no errors. I rightly chosen. Sorry, last time I have chosen wrongly. That's why it has given me error. Now to this copy activity, source and target rightly pointed. That's why it has not given any error. Now, as a developer, as a data engineer, what you need to do is you need to publish this. What do I mean by publish? You need to maintain your code in the GitHub or Bitbucket or Azure DevOps, whatever. There are code repository tools are there, right? This is a cloud platform. You need to push your code first, then only you need to do. But since you are doing the for the first time, you are developing a pipeline. You need to test yourself whether it is working correctly or not. You need to cross check yourself, right? That's why there is an option called debug. First, you need to do the debug. If it is working good, then you may allow to publish this code to production Git repository. So I'm not doing the product. I mean, we haven't configured to Git repository here. So I'm just going to debug it to see how it is processing. Now I go to output. I select my this thing. I went to this. So this is my sorry. I'm in debug mode now. Now I'll go and see the file is copied or not. I think this one is selected. Huh? So output folder has been copied here because of my pipeline. So this file you can be able to view the same actually. So this is what the data we copied actually to here. You clear, right? So to do this pipeline, right, what all things we created, we used data sets, linked services, and integration runtime also. What do I mean by integration runtime? It will be available in this place, integration runtime. So there are different types of integration runtimes here. They are nothing but your RAM, your infrastructure, which is it will be there in the backend to process your data pipelines. So these integration runtimes are three types. One is defaultly Azure provided. If you want to use your self-hosted integration runtime, you can be able to create your you have a Azure virtual desktop or virtual machine or your local on-premise machine, whatever it is, your third-party server. Whenever you wanted to use as a processing layer, you can be able to connect that also, because some people will have the tendency their data cannot be given to processing engine, Azure engine. There is a misuse. For that case, right, you can be able to connect your self-hosted integration runtime. These are the different types: Azure provided, self-hosted, and SSIS provided. What is SSIS? Lift and shift you will be able to do here. When I show lift and shift of SSIS, you have created your project from the last 10 years. You have developed a lot of projects, lot of pipelines. You don't want to lose them in SSIS, MSBI. You want to bring up all these things to here. You want to reuse the same. What you need to do is you can use this integrated runtime. This integrated runtime, if you connected right, you will be able to bring those files into this premise. You will be able to keep it like a on-premise, sorry, cloud basis ADF platform wise actually. So there is a provision, just is it's like a migration. So for today, what we've seen is data operation of one file from source to target. Any doubts on this?